Rambo has always felt like one of those movie characters who was almost designed for a single-player game. Yet somehow the series never quite got the game it really deserved. You know, the ingredients are all there: a soldier trained to survive almost anywhere, a bow that can become more dangerous than a machine gun, a brutal close combat, stealth, traps, firefights, forests, mountains, enemy camps, whatever, a character who can disappear into the environment before an entire army realizes where he actually went. See, the last proper Rambo game was Rambo the video game in 2014. It was more than a dozen years ago. It was made by Teon, published by Reef Entertainment, but that was a very different kind of experience. It was actually built around fixed perspective shooting and scenes from the first 3 movies. What makes the current rumor for this thing worth even talking about is that Teon is once again at the center of the conversation. The studio behind Terminator Resistance and RoboCop Rogue City is working on an unannounced action RPG for PC and consoles. According to a 2026 job listing, and the listing specifically called for an animator who could create realistic wolves, dogs, and other animals for gameplay and cutscenes. Nothing officially says this is Rambo, and the reports connecting to Rambo are speculation. But Teon already made a Rambo game, has a history with licensed action properties, and is now actually building another game where animals appear to have an important role. That combination has naturally got people sort of wondering. And the timing couldn't be more interesting, in fact, because Rambo is coming back on the screen as well. John Rambo, a prequel about the character's Vietnam years, has actually entered production recently. The character is a younger Rambo, and that's almost all we know about this thing. This movie is actually taking the character back to the period that shaped them before the events of the First Blood, giving the franchise a completely different opportunity to just explore where this man came from. That doesn't prove a game is connected to the movie, but it does mean the Rambo brand is suddenly moving again. And that makes a new game far less difficult to imagine. See, the best version, we think, would actually go back to what made the First Blood special instead of just trying to copy the huge action from the later movies. Because Rambo was terrifying because he didn't need an army behind him. Put him in a forest with nothing but a knife, a bow, and a few supplies, and suddenly the people hunting him are the ones who should be worried. A modern game could build the entire experience around that idea, letting players move through a large wilderness while deciding whether to stay hidden, set traps, sneak behind enemy positions, or simply just pick the right moment to strike and disappear again. A forest also, so to speak, could become the real weapon. Tall grasses hide Rambo from patrols, thick trees break lines aside, streams covers footsteps, and darkness changes how both sides move through the area. An enemy squad might know Rambo is somewhere nearby without knowing exactly where he is, so they sort of spread out and alert searching. Then you could just watch him from a hill, wait until one soldier walks away from the group, quietly take him down, and then move before anyone realizes what happened. There would be no need for a giant stealth meter or 100 different buttons telling you what to do. The environment itself kinda does explain everything by itself. One important thing is that the bow thing will probably become the game's signature weapon. Think about it. And this is where a modern Rambo could actually really stand apart from other shooters. Guns are pretty loud and powerful, but the bow is quiet, portable, and personal. Different arrows could have different uses without turning the game into a fantasy. A normal arrow handles ordinary enemies, while explosive arrows can destroy equipment or vehicles, and even specialized arrows could create distractions or start fire or whatever. The important part here is that the bow should always feel like something Rambo relies on because it suits the way he survives, not because the game needs another weapon category. Then of course there are the traps, which could be incredible. If Teon though keeps them simple, Rambo doesn't need to build an entire military base from scratch. He just needs a few minutes, some ropes, wood, metal, and whatever happens to be lying around. A tripwire hidden along a new narrow path, a spike trap beside a river, an explosive placed near a fuel truck, or just a crude alarm system could just change the way an enemy patrol moves through the area. You could prepare the battlefield before the shooting starts, which would obviously make every encounter feel more personal now. That would also sort of make the enemy AI extremely important. Soldiers shouldn't simply forget everything the moment Rambo walks behind a tree. If one patrol finds a dead body, the others should become more careful. If they discover an arrow sticking out of a wall or whatever, they should start looking. If a vehicle suddenly explodes, well, of course, nearby soldiers should take over and call for help. Eventually, the whole area could just become more heavily guarded because the enemy understands that something is hunting them. And that's where the game could capture the old Rambo feeling without needing constant action. You aren't a superhero walking in a military base and killing everyone in 5 minutes. You are this extremely dangerous man surrounded by people who have numbers, weapons, vehicles, and helicopters. The advantages you have is that you understand the terrain better than they do. Here's the thing, the old Rambo, the video game, already included familiar weapons, stealth kits, demolition, knife combat, destructible environments, cover shooting, sequences based on the original trilogy. So, a modern game could take those same ideas and finally put them inside an experience where the player controls how those moments happen, rather than just simply following a fixed shooting gallery. The new movie also gives the character another chance to reach a younger audience, while sort of reminding older fans why Rambo became such an icon in the first place. Lionsgate now holds worldwide rights to John Rambo and has also secured the opportunity to sort of participate in the future Rambo films and television projects, so the franchise is clearly being positioned for another phase rather than just simply left in the past. That makes a new game a logical possibility, even though there is still no official announcement here. So for now, of course, the honest version is simple. Teyon developers are making an unannounced action RPG, and Rambo is one of the names being connected to it by speculation. The studio has not confirmed that the game is Rambo, and there is no official title, release date, setting, or even gameplay reveal. The animal animation job listing is real, the new Teyon project's real, and Teyon's previous Rambo connection is real, but the final step connecting those facts together remains unconfirmed. Still, however, if it really is a Rambo game, this could be one of those cases where a relatively small studio is actually the perfect fit. The character doesn't need a $300 million open-world blockbuster, he needs a world worth surviving in. He needs enemies that are smart enough to hunt him. He needs a bow that feels deadly, a knife that feels personal, some traps that make the player think, and forests that feel dangerous after dark. Most of all, he needs a game that understands that Rambo isn't interesting because he can kill 100 people. He is interesting because he can disappear into a forest with almost nothing and somehow become the most dangerous person in it. If Teyon can actually build the whole game around that idea, a new Rambo game could be far more than just another licensed shooter. And with John Rambo now in production, the timing might actually be right. The rumor is still a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt, but if that unannounced Teyon game really does turn out to be Rambo, well, this is the kind of comeback that could make the old soldier finally feel dangerous again.